So I guess the next category we want to do is our favorite archival comics collection.
Mm-hmm.
This was probably the most difficult category for me to pick, just because there are so many fantastic reprint projects out there right now, and so many of them are so well done. There's a lot I didn't get a chance to read that I would have liked to. There's a lot that I did read that probably easily could have gone into this slot.
Yeah, and there were a lot of great things that came out this year too for archival projects. I mean, Fantagraphics put out some things that people were waiting for years.
A lot of long-awaited projects. Yeah. Well, in that on that note, things that Fantagraphics have put out that people have been waiting for years. Ultimately, the one I chose for the single best of the year was the complete Pogo. Syndicated Comic Strips Volume 1 through the Wild Blue Wonder by Walt Kelly. This volume was edited by Kim Thompson and Carolyn Kelly, and we spoke about it on our show just last week, so I won't go into it too much. Other than to say the reason that I chose this one over some others, which I really, really, really liked, and would have assumed at the beginning of the year would have easily taken this slot, was just because cover to cover, first strip to last, I just really, really enjoyed this one. It was a very finished strip right out of the gate, even though the political element that we know comes into Pogo will be added later is not really in evidence here. The drawing style, the humor, the characters were all there right at the beginning. So it was just a hugely enjoyable book to read. And it was a bit more of a surprise and a bit more of a discovery because, you know, unlike something like Peanuts or Popeye or Mickey Mouse, you know, people, you know, except for real comic strip aficionados, don't necessarily know Pogo as well. So I think in that way it was a bit more of an important archival project that this work was preserved and put forward in such a handsomely produced hardcover volume. So of all the great reprint projects that were out this year, and there are a lot of good ones we can talk about in our honorable mentions, Pogo, the first one on Pogo, was my absolute favorite. I loved reading it.
Yeah, Pogo is my #2 book of the year on my list. I actually have a structured list that I do too, and it's my #1 reprint project on that list. However, I did not feel right putting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on that list just because it's still kind of new. You know what I mean? It's like it's not old enough where like stuff like Pogo and Carl Barks, Floyd Gottfredson, Mickey Mouse, like that stuff like has not been available to people for a long time, and people have wanted it. You know what I mean? Like something like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I feel like it's still kind of recent enough.
So you're saying that you did not consider that?
Yeah, I didn't consider that on my structured list just because it was so new. I just didn't feel it was fair necessarily to put that on there. However, I'm going to kind of back out of that with this a little bit because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Ultimate Collection from IDW, was my favorite archival project of the year. It's not on my structured list, but Pogo would have been my other choice for this. But I just thought Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I have to give that some love because I enjoyed that so much. It was just a great read. And I had never read this stuff before. You had. It was my first experience with the first 7 issues, I believe it is, of the original Eastman Laird Ninja Turtles in this deluxe, like, oversized black and white page with like a lot of notes from the artists and stuff on it. Perfect presentation from IDW for it. And the stories were just amazing. I love them. Like they're some of the best superhero stories like out there. Period. I feel like.
Really? Wow,
yeah, I think
really
they're
high praise.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't feel right putting that on my other list, but yeah, it's my favorite reprint project of the year. What
cool.
can I say?
Yeah. No, I'm glad you chose that one. I mean that for me it was definitely in the running for being my choice as well. And like Pogo, just because I just enjoyed reading it so much. And yeah, I see what you're saying. Like it didn't need to be reprinted in the way that like we obviously need to have Carl Barks in print. We needed to bring back Pogo, but it is just a really well done book. And if you want to access to that material, this is just the absolute best way to do it. I also had a great we did a show on this on the Turtles too. It's definitely the best thing that's come out of IDW's handling of that license. So I loved it too. I'm anxiously awaiting Volume 2, and I'm really glad you chose it, because it probably would have been my number 2 choice.
Yeah, I just wasn't expecting it to be as good and solid as it was. But I
kind of didn't either. You know, I read them when I was a kid, but as I was rereading it again, I was like, yeah, these are really solid. You know, and also with the supplementary material in the back, it gives a good kind of glimpse of a particular kind of era in comics, an era that Eastman Laird helped define by kind of striking out on their own and self-publishing and writing and drawing and doing everything on their own. This little black and white, scruffy little comic book that ended up becoming the basis for a worldwide cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
Plus, I love the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, Pogo. I absolutely love Pogo though too. I love the whole concept behind it. Like you said, front cover to back cover, it was solid and a great book. And
also, Fantagraphics has been doing a good job lately, and this is certainly the case in Pogo, in providing the right amount of supplementary material so that it doesn't overwhelm the strip, it doesn't overwhelm a more casual reader, but they give you enough context and introduction, explanatory notes at the end, where it creates a really nice package. You know, you get enough context for the strip where you can appreciate it, but it without overwhelming the strip. So the presentation in both of these books I thought was pitch perfect.
Yeah, and like with with Mickey Mouse and the Carl Barks material, it's like you knew that stuff was gonna be high quality. I didn't know what to expect from Pogo at all. I mean, it's Walt Kelly, and it's obviously a very revered comic strip, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. Probably, it's probably just kind of like up in my esteem a little bit, just because I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was.
I think that was the case for me too, for sure.
And I love little, animals in the woods and stuff like that. Talking animals, it's cute.
Cool.